Good afternoon to one and all present here. Welcome to this session. We are very proud to have a stellar panel here, right from Shri Himanshu Gupta ji, the Secretary, CBSE, Ministry of Education, Government of India, Dr. Sayam Bharadwaj, Controller of Examinations, CBSE, Mr. Luis Cardenas, the Regional Manager for South Asia Education, USA, Dr. Jeet Joshi, Associate Vice President for International Education and Global Engagement, CSU Long Beach, Dr. Jaishankar Raman, Executive Director of International Affairs, California State University, Office of the Chancellor, US. Brendan Graham is not here, but his slides would be taken up by Mr. Swaraj Nandan, who is the CEO of the Universist, KIC Universist, and also somebody who put the entire working group together, and Michelle Whittingham, Associate Vice Chancellor of Enrollment Management University, University of California, who's going to join us shortly. She's at the Presidential Forum right now, and I'm here to moderate the session. A little background I would like to give all of you about the project that we are talking about and the update that we are talking about. This project began in the year 2021, just right after COVID, when we had the IC3 here in Delhi, so those many years back, and it saw only about a participation of 400 brave people who could believe in coming out during those times when the COVID was just, going away. And that is the time when we spoke about the CBSE students getting the same facilities that the IB students from IB and students from Cambridge get. So having visited the US universities, I found out that the children who were coming from Cambridge and IB were getting the credits for the studies that they have done in 11th and 12th. The credit here, now we also understand the credits because the NCRF is coming in, and the credit of everything that the children are going to do in the school is going to be earned by the children. So similarly, the US universities, if the children have done a particular coursework in 11th and 12th and they're coming from IB and Cambridge, they do not have to repeat what they've done in 11th and 12th. So the work that they've done is given the credit, and they can move on to do the other bit of their curriculum. So there are about 120 credits that they have to earn over the 4 years, and they get up to 30 credits if they are coming from these two systems. So when I saw that, the question came in that why not the CBSE children? Is the rigor of CBSE any less than the Cambridge or IB? No, it is not. If anything, it is a little more. So who would do this, and who would from CBSE take up the initiative? Because having run the IB curriculum in my school, I was heading the IB school for almost 10 years, and then also had the experience of doing the Cambridge curriculum. I knew that if we talk about physics, it is similar in all the curriculums. If we talk about maths, it is similar, though there are some high levels and there are some standard levels, but at this end of the day, it's all similar. So me and Dr. Sayam Bharadwaj, we were attending the same conference, and with Swaraj, we had those conversations. At that time, we didn't know where would we reach, what we are asking for, but our ask was the four things. One, that after giving such an objective, huge, fair CBSE examination at the end of class 12th, or class 10th, do the children really need to give the SAT or ACT? Because for them, it is preparing for that separately, which is not a part of their curriculum. Second was, after studying in the English medium school for 14 long years, right from early years to class 12th, do we still need to give the English proficiency test? Because I think in India we speak more English than I think all other English-speaking countries put together. The population is so much. Do we really need to do that? The third was that if our CBSE is already marking the children on such fairness and the examination is so objective, then why do our children not get these scholarships based on the CBSE mark sheets? Why do they have to prove themselves again for that purpose? So we said that we will decode the CBSE examination system and the CBSE mark sheet, where we have the grades like A1, A2. Sir would be very shortly talking about those. Then how can the US universities leverage that and read into the applications of the students? And the fourth, of course, was that why can't the credit be given to the children who are coming out of the CBSE system? So why can't they graduate 6 months in advance or a year in advance? They could do a double major, they could do their PG, they could start working early, they could do whatever with that 1 year saved. So these were our 4 asks, and at that time we didn't know where did we stand. But now at the end of 2.5 years, about 6 months back, we had huge announcements, and those of the principals who have attended the webinars, you also got to know about those announcements. And we are here face to face with the entire panel, with Dr. Jaishankar, with Mr. Jeet Joshi, Dr. Jeet Joshi and Swaraj, who are going to tell us as to what are the updates. With this, I would first invite Himanshu sir to come here and address all of us and talk about the vision of CBSE, which is going to take us, lead the way forward. Sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. The esteemed guest on the dais, on the panel, and all the dignitaries who are present today. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for us to interact with all of you. It's the good part is that people from our educators from across the country have, not only just across the country, but from across the globe, have come together. And ICT has provided this such a wonderful platform where we can discuss about what CBSE is doing, what it should be doing, what are its future prospects, where it is lacking, and how we can make it a truly international and a global board. As I'm saying today, it's a there are a lot of good news I would like to share with all of you, that CBSE is putting all efforts to become truly global in nature. We have established our regional office in Dubai, and our regional director has been posted there. He has started functioning from Dubai consulate office. We are also in the process of expanding our regional offices in various regional and sub-regional offices in various parts of the country, the states where we have not reached yet. So we have, board has decided to reach out to all the states. Idea is to make it accessible to all the parts of the country, to provide high quality assessments and to become truly global in nature. As we unfold CBSE, as you all know, that it's a pace setting board. Perhaps it has been now more than 95 years that the board was.
Himanshuji, it seems they are having a trouble hearing you. Maybe you can try.
Hello, yeah.
Is that better?
I hope I am okay.
Let's
fine.
do that.
Okay.
I'm just gonna shut these.
Okay. So it has been more than 95 years that CBSE has born. So it's a pretty old organization, and the board, as you all know, was established in Ajmer, board of Rajputana. Then in 1962 it was established in Delhi, and the idea is to provide quality education to promote intellectual, social and cultural vivacity amongst its learner. Numbers, you all know, we have crossed more than, we have reached around 30,000 schools in the country. And you can see it that we were given our present name in 1952, and in 1962 the board was reconstituted and shifted at Delhi. Right now, our headquarter is at Preet Vihar, but soon we might shift to this part of Delhi, that is Dwarka. Our new integrated office is almost complete, and that will be truly integrated in nature in a manner that all the main headquarter units will be shifted to Dwarka, be that academic, be that skill, controller of examinations, affiliation, everybody, everything will be shifted to Dwarka. As you all know, what are our mandate? So I think all educators must also note this, that the mandate of first mandate, obviously that is the most important part, that is to conduct board examinations, but that is not the only mandate of the board. Then obviously we give affiliations to schools in India and abroad. You will be happy. Any guesses how many schools are abroad of CBSE? From the back. Huh? Yeah. We are now 260 in number, 257, and we have more than 5 lakh students. And the good part is, I was just talking to one of the management in Japan, where we have global Indian school, and 70% of the students in that school are Japanese, and the demand from the parents of those students is that please make Indian students sit with them so that they learn good English and they really respect the STEM education, especially that is being imparted to CBSE schools. The reason why we are saying I'm pointing this out is that ministry also formed a committee on globalization. Ministry of Education formed a committee. Me, Sayam Saab, Jyoti Madam, and officials from ministry, they were part of, we were all part of that committee. The committee has submitted its report to ministry and it is under consideration, where there are a lot of suggestions that have been given. When we talk about globalization, what that actually means is that it has 3 aspects. One is that CBSE is expanding its school across the globe, providing the Indian curriculum. That is, you have to study from that is primarily for Indian diaspora. The Indian diaspora that goes there and wishes to come back after 3-4 years or want to compete in Indian examinations and primarily do higher education in India. Then the second aspect of globalization is that CBSE comes out with a global curriculum which is as per the needs of the country and as per the content of the requirement of the country, however keeping its flavor intact, its strength intact. Like our strength is STEM, so keeping its strength intact, how we can provide education of high quality for global diaspora. That is the second aspect where CBSE is now working in a big way, and hopefully once the report is accepted, we will be bringing out a lot of reforms in that. And the third aspect is equivalence. When we say equivalence, what we actually means is that a lot of boards are now coming to India. You will find that IB has come to India, A levels, Cambridge has come to India. So they have how they have started operating. They have got equivalence from the AIU, and also we give equivalence to them. Similarly, when CBSE goes to any country, then the higher education system must try to give equivalence to the CBSE mark sheet. In fact, you will find that in US and Europe, that are primarily hubs for higher education, the CBSE mark sheet is given due weightage. In fact, the scores of not only 10th and 12th are taken, even 11th class scores are taken. The reason why I'm pointing this out to all the educators is that please ensure, many a times the universities, what they point out is that in scores of children, you have, class 10th here, then a dip in 11th, and then predictive score 12th goes up. Please see that that has a huge impact on the child's admission criteria. Many of the universities now in US are doing away with SAT and TOEFL, and they are bringing out their own admission criterias. That includes seeing the holistic level of development. They even go to the extent of finding out that who was the house captain, who was what all, has child done anything in sports or any other activity. So perhaps this is the demand of a lot of educators in India also, that the same criteria should be followed in Indian universities. And why is there a single examination that a child has to go through? So obviously ministry is going into those aspects. But reason why I pointed out this aspect is that if you want your children to either study in India or abroad, just try to see that their graph is continuous, they are performing continuously well. And that must be told to all the parents also. Perhaps if the parents are if workshops are held with parents and this information is given, that will have a huge impact. The third aspect is to develop curriculum and syllabi for the purpose of conduct of board examinations. So when we talk about curriculum, CBSE, we have issued a circular recently also. Many a times there is confusion between educators also. For class 1 to 8th, if you go to through Right to Education Act, Right to Education Act says that the competent authority to develop the syllabi and curriculum for elementary schooling is the academic authority of the state or center, as the case may be. When it says so, it actually means that it can be either the State Council of Education Research and Training, SCRT, if the SCRT has mandated schools to follow any curriculum, or it can be NCRT. So CBSE recently has issued one circular on, specifying this, that for class 1 to 8, we strongly advised you to use NCRT books. We have been very careful in using that. We strongly advise you, because Act also says that the academic authorities, SCRT or NCRT as the case may be, but we also say that okay, we strongly advise you to use NCRT books, but in case you want to use supplementary books, then please ensure that they stick to the ethos that are enshrined, and they do not create any issue regarding religion, caste, creed, and all those aspects are to be looked into by the school principal and school manager. And we expect that the schools, whenever they bring out any supplementary material, then they must also upload it on the internet, so that all the parents can read it and it is transparent. When you come to 9 to 12th, we have said that you must use NCRT books, and that is that we have used the word should. The reason being, 9 to 12th we can govern based upon how we will be conducting the examinations. Supplementary, we are saying that be careful in using the supplementary books. NCRT books provide you a huge material which is of top quality, and NCRT is really revising the books. And board very carefully sits with, I believe Sayam Saab will take it up, that a lot of hard work goes into when a syllabi is decided and when examinations are conducted. Then to develop standards for ensuring quality in affiliated schools. So we ensure that our schools must maintain some equitable standards. For that, board issues various circulars, and we are now we have our online system. You must have heard about OSIS and SARAS, but the main thing is that we want to really automate everything, so that it really becomes hassle free for the schools, and they need not come to board every time, and they can really upload everything that is that is as per the norms that has been mandated by CBSE. So I would just request that all the schools must always go through this OSIS and SARAS module, and board is trying to set standards so that those basic minimum benchmarks are met, whether it is case of children with special needs, whether the requirement of minimum area of a classroom, whether number of the playgrounds that are required, the focus on sports is required, or culture dance drama, or multi skills lab. So all those things, board has tried to create a framework so that schools are able to provide education to the best of their abilities. Then to undertake professional development of teachers and organize student enrichment activities. I think school leaders must also now ensure that time has come that we give huge focus on teachers training. What we are realizing is that national education policy has come, but we can bring it on ground only when our teachers are trained. Now, how are you training your teachers? Are you what sort of material you are using? Who are your resource persons? Even the resources that are being used in class, sometimes what happens as principals, your more focus is on administrative leadership, but the part on academic leadership is left behind. But that is also very very important, that you are at least sitting with your subject PGTs. You might, as a principal, you might be from commerce, but you will have to sit with a science PGT also and talk to him that what are you actually teaching, what are the tools that you are using. Try to take feedback from the students and identify proper training needs and the resources that are being used. At least what we expect from CBSE schools is that there should not be just a one-way communication in classroom. That is the first parameter that we must try to see. You must be having at least different methods in classroom to develop various competencies, whether in the form of case studies, group discussions, audio visual use, excursions. Try to devise your the complete year long calendar, right, in the month of March or April, and try to see that all those whenever you plan any student enrichment activities, then you have feedback sessions, you have proper teachers who are identified, and they are a lot of now. CBSE has now mandated 50 hours of teachers training for each teacher. That includes 25 hours to be done by the school and 25 hours to be done by CBSE. Now CBSE has recently done MOU with ISTM and trying to expand the base of master trainers. So we'd also like to request all the principals that if you have good teachers or you want to become master trainer, please do join CBSE's trainer module, because we will be really investing a lot on our master trainers. And we also want to ensure that the studies of the children are not hampered if those teachers are coming for training. So we'll try to keep those trainings on Saturdays, so that it's a win-win situation for the teacher as well as for the students, and the school is also school needs are taken care of. So professional development of teachers is something which is very very important, and we want that schools should become a training ground for every teacher. Every teacher must try to be a learner. Every teacher must go on some training tour, whether you arrange training from various resource persons across the country. Now you will find that there are so many universities, so many good resource persons. You also have online material. There's so much of material that is available. Then the core content, one is obviously on the leadership aspects and other pedagogy styles, then the other is the core content. So focus should be in a balanced way on all those aspects. As far as student enrichment activities are concerned, then board basically focuses on different types of student enrichment activities. One is obviously the sports activities. You all will be very happy to know that CBSE has become a part of School Games Federation of India. So that's a huge achievement for the board, because henceforth the students who win nationals in CBSE will directly participate in SGFI nationals. so that they will get a very big platform. So apart from, and also we will be aligning a lot of sports activities with SGFI, so that different sports are also included. Then we have different sort of curricular and co-curricular activities that are going on throughout the year. We would really want that all the schools must participate in those activities, because they ultimately lead to, as the name suggests, that they enrich not only the students but also the teachers, and that creates a vibrant atmosphere in the school. We have Aryabhatta Ganit Challenge. We have different, teachers budding. We have Reading Challenge and Budding Authors Challenge. So a lot of new activities are being done in enrichment activities. So these are some of the quality indicators that we expect every school must maintain. You obviously, physical infrastructure is one thing, then teachers requirement. I would also like to mention that in many schools what happens, teachers are mostly taken on contractual basis, and that really has a huge impact on the quality of teaching, because teachers never, they never feel that they are part of the system, and they might be hired or fired anytime. Take time to identify good teachers, but if you have identified, please, nurture them so that they become a huge resource for you till their retirement. Then we expect that the basic financial resources are there with the school when it is being started, that we look from the in our Saras portal. We also now have started seeing what sort of salary the school is paying to the teachers, whether it is as per norms or not. This is one new thing that board has now started doing while giving affiliation. We have also mandated that new schools must have multi-skills lab, and we'll give some time to old schools also to have multi-skills lab. That is very important, because our skill subjects are really becoming very popular, and NCERT is also now giving huge focus on skills. These are some of the quality indicators that we expect, that the teacher student ratio should be maintained, number of sections that should be there. Then we have city coordinators, and we really expect that city coordinators must be doing their job in a very very responsible manner. For, I believe, Sayam Saab will talk about it. So now I will hand over the mic to Sayam Saab so that he can take the presentation forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Manshuji. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My work is now just to brief you a little bit about the CBSE. Why we were saying that the CBSE is a national, international board, and our students should be given the similar advantage or the benefits which are given to the IB and Cambridge. It is certainly because of the school, certainly because of our teachers and dresses, that CBSE is a benchmark in school education, because quality of the school is ensured through our affiliation bylaws. The academic department is ensuring the quality of academic curriculum. The skill department is ensuring the quality of skill curriculum. Quality of teachers is ensured because of the norms fixed by the NCT and the CTT examination conducted by CBSE. Regular capacity building of the teachers by training department. Quality assessment of the students by developing high quality question papers by the examination department, and the IT department is assisting to all verticals of the CBSE to ensure that the equitable and quick services are provided to each and every school. Now, volume speaks about the quality. This is very, very important. Now, the schools affiliated to CBSE are 29,890. I had mentioned in the million also, because a lot of foreigners are over here from the European countries, so they will be able to understand these figures. CBSE presents globally in 27 countries from Japan to Ghana. There is no sunset in the era of the CBSE. Now, regional offices existing 17 in India and one in Dubai. Now, new regional offices we have planned: Gurugram, Lucknow, Ranchi, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, and Raipur. Sub-regional offices first time to look after the to ensure that we are reaching to the inside of the country. So we are having in Srinagar, Jammu, at one of the place, Shimla, Gangtok, Agartala, Itanagar and Hyderabad. Then Center of Excellence, 17 in India and 1 in Dubai. Total student in the CBSE system is 27 million. Total teachers in CBSE system is 1.25 million. Total student in class 10th and 12th is nearly 3.98 million, and this is increasing at the pace of 10% every year. Now, mega examination in class 10th, this total schools who sponsored the class 12th students, these were 25,724. For class 12th, 18,417. Total student registered for board examination 2.29 million in class 10th and 1.7 million in class 12th. Examination conducted by CBSE for 55 days for all these students, considering that they have offered 6.5 subjects. So this comes to 25.93 million. Examination center 2024 examination 7603. Total classroom used for the examination 1.07 million. Total invigilator used 2.15 million. Subject offered 204. Question paper developed 0.004. Total answer book evaluated. Total data processes 6 million, more than 6 million. So this is the quantum of the work which is being done by the CBSE with the help of all these people sitting over here. So when we are holding the examination successfully, this shows that what kind of quality systems are existing in the CBSE. Now, special assistance is provided to the CWSN candidates. For the sports also, we are promoting lot of things. We are conducting the examination in addition to the existing examination if there is a need. Latest from the CBSE is that internationalization, Himanshu ji already informed it to you. Now, the most important part is, and you feel proud that you are the part of a family which was headed by the chairman, Dr. Zakir Hussain also. This is very, very important. And yesterday, we all were sitting and then we were joking, not joking, we were saying that now there is an opportunity for the chairman to become the president of India also. Now this you can see the growth, though the birth of the CBSE was from 1929, but we have shown it from the 92 to 93 and till date. So this is the expansion, and this expansion is continuously growing. So we can predict the number of schools in coming years also. When we will apply the AI over here, we can quickly say that by when we would be crossing the 50,000 figure. Now, different kind of category of schools are being taken care, and we are ensuring that each school, each category of school is provided quality services from our side. There is no discrimination, and all the schools are considered at par to other schools. Now this is the honogram everyone is aware of. This is basically just to the people from the foreign universities sitting over here. We wanted to show that it is headed by the as chief executive officer is the chairman, but controlling authority is the secretary education, and then there are directors and other officials over there. Now what students are taught and assessed, it is not that I am providing the book. Curriculum transaction is done by me and the examination is done by me only. So it is not that over there, it is not over there. Curriculum is prepared by the NCRT, which is adopted by the CBSE. Curriculum transaction by the schools, and then the examination is done by the CBSE, means the third party assessment. Program offered, you are very well aware of. Now CBSE scheme examination, you are aware that what all subjects are to be offered by the student. Now the student engagement activities have already been informed by Himanshu ji. Now student assessment by the schools, you are also aware that the curriculum transaction is done by the schools, then multiple assessment by the schools, then practicals by the school again, then practicals are conducted from 1st January by the board by deputing the external examination, pre-board examination by the school to ensure the quality of the students and the learning over there, multiple assessment by the schools, then examinations are conducted from 15th of February to nearly 7th of April. Then evaluation is done on the fictitious roll number and the result is declared by May. So this work is being done by the schools starting from January to May. Now result hosting to assess the student and admitting institution. What we are doing, the result is hosted on the CBSE result website. Soon it is declared, so that even if some person is sitting in any part of the world, they would be able to log on to the website and see the performance of their students. School-wise result is sent to all concerned school through the mail within 15 to 20 minutes of time of declaration of the result. Passing documents are hosted in DigiLocker. Hard copies are supplied within 15 to 20 days to the student through the school. Admitting institutions are provided API link so that they can verify the credentials of the student. Not demystifying the report card, you are very well aware that we are providing the numerical marks. We are providing the what you call that grades also. By looking into the grades, by looking into the marks, we can come to know that what is the performance of the student and what kind of learning is over there. Now 0.1% merit certificate is also issued by the CBSE. With this, we can come to know that this student is amongst the 0.1% topmost of the student in that particular subject who have passed the examination. Now, subject-wise relative grading is known to you: A1, A2, A3, A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, D1, D2. Say if I am securing all A1 in all subjects, no one could be better than me, I would say. Means I am in that particular bench. So by that point of view, any foreign university can see and ensure that this child is of has secured good marks, having a good position in the academics and the other things also. Now, how grades are awarded, this is given at the back of the mark sheet also. I would not take much of time, but the thing is that the total number of passed students are arranged in a decreasing order, highest at the top and then the decreasing order, and topmost 1/8 students are placed in A1 group, the next 1/8 in the A2 group. Now, robust evaluation system, a lot of rechecking, checking and again checking is over there, so that there is no problem in the evaluation. Everything is corrected. Means evaluation is done correctly, and there is no problem with the evaluation of the student. Now, CBSE alumni are everywhere. You are very well aware that the schools are having much more knowledge that where their students are. So our students are in all the fields. They are heading the countries. They are in the sports. They are in the space. They are in the industries. And means now you go to the this one column, that even from the past we are getting the alumni as the chairman of the CBSE also, which is a good part for the CBSE. Yeah. So IC3 group achievements were told to every one of you by Jyoti ma'am. That is the thing. And NEP 2020, the landscape will change in the manner that our student will be performing better across the world. And the same thing which was during the inaugural session, people will say that everywhere CBSE, CBSE and CBSE. Yeah. So this is all by the, this has already been informed. Now this you can come. Yeah. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Himanshu sir. Thank you, Sayam sir, for decoding the entire process of examinations and for also sharing with everybody, because there's a diverse group here, the school principals, their educators, their counselors and their university representatives. So it was a very comprehensive view of actually what CBSE is and what the child who's getting the benefit of the entire schooling, what kind of shape and personality does that child have and what are the achievements of that child. So I would now request Shankar to come in and share the updates on the project as to how CSU at the policy level has met with the objectives of the work group.
Thank you, Jyoti ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Sayam ji, Himanshu ji, thank you for this platform. I will probably. Okay. No, it does not move fast.
Okay, you can go with this
Hang on.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So while Swaraj is doing this, California State University is a state system which is the largest public university in the United States, 450,000 plus students, and 23 campuses. Thank you. My role is I'm the Executive Director of International Affairs, overseeing international affairs for the entire system. So I report to the Chancellor, who is here, by the way. She's going to be addressing the audience this evening, and she's been quite amazed with all the things that are happening here. I'll speak a little faster because we are trying to do a couple of things here. This conversation happened when we were trying to do credits for CBSE students as one of the objectives. And again, this audience, 3 years ago, we had maybe 15 people sitting in a small room and we were chatting. Last year, it was a little bigger, but this is just unbelievable. But it's also something where we finally have something that we want to talk to you that is very concrete. And that is, my work was to try to work with my universities, the 23 universities, to say, let's try to figure out how to give credits to the students, right? I understand the complexity and the rigor of CBSE, and it was important for our educators and our administrators in California to understand how you can do this. We started this as a pilot project in a couple of places. And I'll skip this part here. So one of the things that your students will get when they apply to us is that there is a foundational general education curriculum that all students go through. Different universities have different levels of general education courses, and the idea was to give credits to these students as we go. And we did this in terms of looking at how the credits can be given. So maximum 30 credits can be given to our students. And we started this as a pilot. You'll see that there are several campuses that are listed here. I'm happy that one of my colleagues is here from Long Beach. Two of the universities, East Bay and Chico, already created a transfer grid. So the idea was take your CBSE curriculum, evaluate it, find out what it equals to in a CSU coursework. And so if you go to East Bay, if you Google East Bay Chico or East Bay and CBSE or Chico and CBSE, you'll get a grid that actually tells you what the course load looks like. So I would say that I would encourage you to go to their website because that's what will give you. So what I'm proud of is the fact that we now have the ability to do this. The second thing is we also do not have an entrance exam. So the SAT has been also, thanks to the pandemic, we're not in that mode. We are also looking at, if your student is in a high school in an English medium, as was pointed out, that the language test can also be optional. So it kind of goes to the point that Jyoti ma'am was talking about. So I'm very pleased that we can do this. Chico is, again, another campus that has already done this. What this means is the students can come in, if they show their mark sheet and they have a certain level, which is about 81, which is, I think, B1, I think, at this point. So a B1 and above can get academic credit.
It depends.
Depends
It's
on
dynamic.
exactly.
Yes.
So I think I'm very happy that we are able to do this. I'm excited that our first group of students are starting in fall. In fact, they're starting now. That are going to be getting this credit. Just one other thing that I want to, and I'll leave Long Beach for Jeets to talk about. I think I had. Oh, I'm skipping. Okay, one last update before I give it to Jeet. Our next task is we have 23 universities. Maybe 5 of us are actually doing this. Is this your slide? Okay, I'll move it back up. The objective is for all 23 to accept credits automatically. And so that's the work that I'm doing here. Hopefully they'll have a bigger hall next time. I'm going to be giving a bigger update for you on that one. Thank you.
Thank you, Shankar. That is really huge, and these are the announcements that we were waiting for. Thank you so much. So that was at the policy level. I would request Dr. Jeet Joshi to come in and talk to us about what his campus is doing, his challenges that were there, and how he overcame those challenges.
Thank you, Jyoti ma'am. And thank you everyone for being here, and thank you for this platform that we have. So Sankar talked about the system level initiative in terms of how the whole system is going to develop this system so the 23 university would, award the credit. Because as some of you, know, CSU is a massive system, as Sankar said, and it's one system, but 23 different universities with 23 different presidents, 23 different academic senate. The faculty is different, and each has its own majors and minors and academic, requirements. So when it comes to the implementation, it really is decentralized. And especially when it comes to the curriculum, it is the faculty who is in charge. I can say all I want as an administrator, they don't have to listen to me. So faculty is really in charge when it comes to curriculum. And when we're talking about CBSE, it really goes to the core of the curriculum because we're talking about academic credits, course equivalencies, and all that. So at the campus level, it's a massive undertaking to make it happen. So system always helps in developing policies, but the campus level we have to do a lot of legwork and a lot of detailed work. So it worked. So at the initiative in Long Beach campus is that the first is I identified who the stakeholders are, who I need to bring them together. So certainly the campus articulation office, each university has an articulation office that kind of looks at courses from outside, whether that is a foreign university or even within the US, other universities, and takes a look at the curriculum, and especially in the general education area, whether the curriculum matches or not. And if it does match, then we award the credit. So articulation office was really important. And certainly the vice provost for academic planning in academic affairs was important because they do work with the system office, and every new program at the university has to go through that office. So that office is very important as well. And the enrollment services, which includes the registrar and international admissions, which includes the registrar and the admissions of the entire university, they were important because that's where all of the student records, remain. How many credits were transferred, how it's going to show up in the transcript, mark sheet, so to speak. All that is done in the registrar's office under enrollment services. So they were important. They needed to know that this is happening. Otherwise, we can implement it, and if they don't know, it's not going to appear. And certainly the international admissions office, which is under my office, they needed to know that what is being done and how we are going to do it. And certainly, as I mentioned, the faculty is in charge of all of the curriculum. The departments, the academic departments were very, very important. And so we informed them, and definitely the college dean's office, where all the departments are housed. There are 8 different colleges at Cal State Long Beach. It's a large university with 41,000 students, one of the largest in the CSU system. So there are a lot of departments, a lot of majors. They needed to know what we're doing in that. And there are committees within the department, within the colleges that looks at the curriculum. There are a lot of hoops. I don't want to go to that detail right now, but there are a lot of hoops to get it, approved. And certainly my office, my role is actually kind of breeze, all these different, entities, on campus to bring them together. And not everyone understands when it comes to international education because, overall they understand what it is, but they don't, readily understand when we're talking about transferring, courses and credits. So what happened is in terms of the processes, so what we did is all the stakeholders that I identified there, we had a campus-wide meeting. And from that meeting, we take a look at the curricular mapping process. What that is actually we went through the CBSE website and took a look at, all of the courses that's been offered, and we took a look at all of the courses that we offer, and then our requirement and whether the curriculum would meet that requirement or not. And that's where the articulation office became very, very important because they know those processes, all of that. And then the academic department would need to buy in. They need to agree, especially the faculty would need to agree, about the courses that is going to be replaced. Really, they are not going to teach these students. They're going to come with the, credits. So that's what, happened. And then we have to do the equivalency determination. Even if, let's say, a culture course of a certain, from CBSE school would be labeled as that, that may not be exactly same as the culture course that we would have. So they had to do this equivalency determination. And then with all that said, so how do the students, when they apply, indicate, these are the courses that they have taken, so the international admissions implementation steps, we have thought about. And then CSU system, all 23 campuses apply with one software, and that's the Cal State Apply. So what we're trying to determine is actually, well, we've determined, we haven't, so to speak, pull the trigger, because we're going to start this in fall 2025, is that when the students from overseas apply with AP or IB credits, in the Cal State Apply, we would have a place for them to indicate that's what they have done. So what we're trying to do is also in the same fashion, have a CBSE as a third button there, and they would apply there, and then they could indicate all of the courses that they have taken. So it would be treated exactly as the AP and IB. That was the easiest thing for me to articulate because they understand IB and AP, not CBSE. And so once you, really present, what this is about, and because they know IB and AP, so I was really hammering on that point that this has to be treated as that. Otherwise, it will be a nightmare to create course by course, all of that, kind of. So we're exploring on that one, that Cal State Apply. Actually, the person who's in charge of it is here at this conference as well. I don't know if she's here, so we have a booth there. We have all kind of agreed. It's just a matter of how to get it done. So to give you a synopsis of what we've done, when you take a look at the curriculum, is in Long Beach, we identified all of the subject areas. Instead of courses, we have now identified all of the subject areas. And general education is, we call something like the A through G requirement. These are all the different areas that the student would have to take in order to get an undergraduate degree. And that totals to about 48, 49 credits out of the 120 that they need. So this is almost half. So in those areas, these are the areas that CBSE curriculum would fulfill the requirement. So we've already identified that. And now we're going to say, okay, biology, and there are like 3 courses that would require this area, fulfill this area requirement. So already, even if it's just one course in each of these, that's more than 30 already, we know. That's 12 there. But we already know there's more than one course in each of these areas. So we were just very tentatively going through it. We would have 50 to 60 different courses, but then out of that, 30 would be transferred. So think about it, 30 credits is equivalent of the entire year's, study. Normally, students take about 15 credits a semester. So if you think of cost, then the students are actually shortening the entire year. They don't have to pay for that because they already have the credit. It is 25%. If you do the 4-year graduation, which is 120 credits, 15 per semester, 8 semesters, 120. So they would have a 1 year of their study already taken care of. So it really helps the students. And that's why we got on board about this, because we're all about students. If it helps the students, why not? We should do it. And we already have AP and IB. How many students have more than 30 in those areas? I will be upfront about it. But normally they don't come with more than 30. And that's why we came to that 30 threshold. We took a look at it. AP and IB, yeah, we do a lot more than 30, but we didn't see more than 30 students coming because of all the other requirements. So this is what we're doing. We're going to implement for the fall, because it's already too late for 24, 25 fall, students would have this option available. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeet. Jeet is also the current chair of AIEA, which is the International Association of the
International Education Administrators. So I was president of AIEA last year, and it's a 3-year commitment, and I will be chairing the conference. So I've been talking to Soraz if CBSE could have a delegation, because there are country delegations in AIEA. AIEA is the association in the United States which brings together all of the senior international officers. You know, we have about 800 to 1,000 senior international officers on a given year come in one place. And as I'm chairing that conference, Soraz has already, proposed a session about CBSE, which next week, once I get back, I'll be taking a look at it. But I'm encouraging him, and Himanshu ji is here, Sanyam ji is here. Maybe a delegation from CBSE would inform the thousands of senior international officers what CBSE is about.
That's going to be huge. Can I invite Michelle Whittingham to give us the update on the UC system and UC Santa Cruz in particular?
Thank you so much, Jyoti ma'am. What an honor it is to be here, and Sayamji and Himanshuji. I've been a CBSE student, I feel, for the last 2.5 years. And I always say, thank goodness they never make me take an exam. So I'm very grateful. I'm going to go really quickly because we're running a little bit behind. But at the University of California, many of you have heard of the UC system. We are 10 campuses with 300,000 students. Only 9 of our campuses offer undergraduate degrees, and so San Francisco is graduate only. But in our system, a lot of these policies are at the system-wide level first. And so our faculty, as you heard, we have shared governance. And as a little joke, I often say, sorry about my great faculty members here, in the University of California, it's a little more like faculty governance, but a lot of us as administrators influence the faculty policies and really advocate on behalf of students. So I'm going to go through, Jyotimam, just the 4 areas that we've identified. And so the English proficiency, University of California policy set system-wide. And so if the students have their coursework in English, they do not require that if they've had it in high school. So check. So no standardized exams. Even before the pandemic, we eliminated the standardized exams. So again, check. Scholarships. We offer merit scholarships for students outside of California who are coming in because we value the perspective students bring. So the University of California application is also a scholarship application. That is system-wide. What you see here is something that I advocated very strongly for way back in 2011 to have a merit scholarship to recognize the incredible contributions the top scholars from around the globe as well as around the US bring to our campus community. Our students from California have a better experience. Our research is better because many of your CBSE students are a part of our community, and so we're really grateful with that. The last item on the credit, I've been championing through our Office of the President, which again is where our centralized academic policies take place. And so we did finally get a decision this summer, and what our faculty decided at this time, given the breadth that we have of general education, all the different courses that we require, at this time they're not expanding the credit. But what I want to recognize is that students may place higher in the math courses because of the rigorous curriculum. They may place higher in the writing courses because of the curriculum. Our faculty really desire, we have a cross-cultural awareness general education, for example, at Santa Cruz. They want your students in the classroom with other students contributing. So they're going to further expand beyond the CBSE curriculum because that particular requirement on our campus is one of 142 courses the students can choose from. And so they want to make sure that those opportunities are available to engage with other students in the classroom. However, in August, we received authorization from the centralized system to be able to look at the individual campus level. So I have support on our campus at the University of California, Santa Cruz, and I'm going to start with physics because we have a formal faculty member who is on our Senate committees. And so I think we'll start with something that people are very familiar with, the curriculum. Anatam Narayan, I don't know if Rekha Man is here from Vasant Valley School, but her cousin actually is a faculty member in our physics department. So he's very familiar with CBSE. So again, being strategic is really something we look forward to. So I am so happy and I'm so honored to be a student of yours and continue to learn and advocate on behalf of your students. So thank you very much, Jyoti.
Thank you, Michelle. And very strategically, we also chose to work with the state of California, that being the largest system in the US, which is going to influence the rest of the USA also. So, Louis, I would invite you here to share the perspective of Education USA.
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Louis, and I have the distinct pleasure of working with 6 Education USA advising offices throughout India, and we're part of a network of 450 plus advisors in 150 countries. Many of them are in the back there, and we also have Karen Bauer, one of our REACT's regional managers for the MENA region. So again, as Michelle says, I've been a proud student of CBSE for the last 2.5 years. I'm still waiting for my results, so fingers crossed. But just we're trying to get the word out. Obviously, this is one of many presentations that we've done in the past 2 years. Most recently, we mentioned this initiative at the Education USA Forum. It was our 25th anniversary. There were 475 folks in attendance, and our India session, our big sender session where we mentioned this, was actually pretty packed audience, as well as our regional updates. Both the embassy and the consulates throughout India have been briefed. We have Gary here from the US Embassy New Delhi. I think Sona was here for a minute as well too, so our public diplomacy team. Our ambassador, Eric Garcetti, was briefed yesterday by CSU, the delegation. So there's a lot of buzz. The Department of Education in the U.S. has also been briefed, as well as the Bureau for Educational and Cultural Affairs that Education USA is part of. Why is this important to us? Well, not only is this creating equity and access for students, but one of the number one questions we get at Education USA is how do we tap the undergraduate student market in India, because it is heavily a graduate market. Well, I'm telling you, this is it. This is going to be the key for you to get more undergraduate students looking at your universities in the US. So if you are interested in finding more, we do have a QR code that we have developed that will go ahead and give you information where you can sign up. Some of you may already be issuing credits for advanced credit for CBSE, and we just don't know about it. So we're trying to develop a database to be able to get the word out to as many institutions as possible. So this is important to Education USA. This is important to ECA in the US, because it's not only speaking to students here in India, but again, 27 countries across the globe. This is a huge undertaking, and we're so honored to be a part of it. So stay tuned for virtual workshops. In the future, we'll have more webinars. We've had webinars with CBSE teachers, faculty, staff members. We hope to now offer webinars for the higher education community. We're developing a toolkit. We're working on a white paper that will be available to all of you. We do have data that Northeastern has graciously provided. Swaraj will talk to you in a bit about that. So the work has been done. It's now we need your help in getting this to the right people on your campus, for those of you on the HEI side. And again, stay tuned. We are looking at other curricula, but we're starting with CBSE first. So thank you so much.
Thank you for your patience, and I know we are already over. the amount of sweat, blood, and tears that has gone into this in the last three years, each of them could have spoken for an hour, and I know we are really restricted with time, so thank you for your patience. I do want to take a minute to go over the Northeastern slides, because it's important for us to understand how we can use the data that is available. Northeastern actually started an initiative in 2020. Fall of 2020 was the first batch where they actually recognized CBSE and ISC. And they're happy because the children who were given credit, we have their performance. And so in fact, for the people at the back, the blue is CBSE, the red is APs, the green is ISC, and IB is the one on the right. Physics, you can see the kids who got credit by CBSE, they're actually outperforming others. And by the way, I want to acknowledge Satyajit Dattagupta at Northeastern, and Brendan Graham. It was Brendan's parents' 50th anniversary, and that's why he's not here, and we miss him. Karan and Anushka, are you in the room? Yeah, so we have our friends from Northeastern right there. If there's any questions about what they're doing, because they're continuing to do this and refine this, as Sayam sir mentioned, we're going to have the APIs into CBSE. So any of you, from a data standpoint, if you want to refine that further, because 81 was what they used to provide credit, but you may decide that it's 83 for math and 87 for physics. The advantage is that you have the support now of CBSE to take that data in an API manner and define your own cutoffs with your faculty members. So I just wanted to mention that. And the QR code that Louis mentioned, we've just come up with that. We want to understand if, as a university person, this is the QR code for university as well as our school delegates who are here. If you want to join so that we can keep updating you, as we said, we will organize some webinars. I think the system is also saying leave. But please join us. If you're from a university, we want to understand, one, if you already waived the English requirement for CBSE students. Two, if SAT and ACT, if you're test optional, do you plan to continue that or not? Three, if you do offer some scholarships. And fourth, from a credit standpoint, one, do you already do it? Two, if not, will you be interested? And I know we have some friends here already in the audience who were at the DC forum. I see Dino there. And he had already told us he would be very interested at Buffalo, right? So there are many of you in here. Please join us. We would love to have you as a part of this initiative, because the more students we can help, across the board, would be great. So with that, I would...
A big round of applause for the man behind the entire project, Swaraj Nandan. Thank you to the entire panel. Thank you to Himanshu sir for leading the conversations, to Sayam sir for decoding the CBSE, for the CBSE examination pattern for all of us. Thank you to the delegation from the CSU, including Shankar and Jeet, to be here. And thank you, Louis, for supporting the entire project. Thank you so much. Thank you, Swaraj. Thank you, all the participants. Should you have any questions, we can stay connected through the QR code, and you could always post your questions to us. Thank you.